get some, some footage
Okay.
here. But anyway, back to EMF. So that's electricity in the air. So something in reference to something to your home, your TV gives off about 40 to 60 milligauss depending on how many things you have running to it. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea. Your microwave, heating up your food, heating up, is about 150 to 170. So she got up to a 12.1. The average for this space is between 18 to 22. That's an average of what I normally see in this location. So I almost expect an 18 to 22. We have seen triple digit numbers. In fact, the highest number I've ever seen in my 11 years of ghost hunting has come from this location.
Oh, really?
214 milligauss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, craziness. I will tell you, we left. I've already released to you that I have epilepsy. That's too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder. So we got the hell out of here pretty quickly. Now, yeah, I know, right?
What did it mean? What did it mean?
I
when
got
it's that high?
18.5.
18.5. See what I mean? Average is between 18 to 22.
But what did it mean when it gets that high?
So again, your microwave gives off enough electricity of 150 to 170. So
Right.
imagine that much electricity
Oh.
in the air.
But what does it mean?
Right. Where's
So-
the electricity coming
So
from?
what?
Spirits
So-
or?
Electricity is energy.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the energy is a ghost?
There was a
Essentially.
convention. There was
Okay.
basically a convention
Possibly.
going on here.
But at 214
There's an
milliamps
orgy
in a
going
space
on
with
here.
no electricity, what
That's
other
right,
explanation
yeah.
do we have? Nothing. Exactly. So, where the hell are we? We're in a parking lot. Congrats, you made it. So, I told you, I'm taking you to weird spots. This place used to be something. This used to be an Eliza, had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's exactly why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is coming through in the event somebody sees or hears the name Charles. You're getting my point. Anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on. If I don't give them the recognition every single night, we're going to get a very nasty message through a spirit box. We're just going to put it that way. I've seen it dozens of times.
Marianne.
Did you get?
Am I on now?
Not yet. You would hear it. So, we're going to talk about Eliza instead. She has a much better story. Eliza marries Charles that they're using. Your TV shows normally use only one spirit box or one communication piece at a time, and they might get something. However, this is why I like to use multiple. Anthony might ask you a question, you might get the answer. We don't know. So it's kind of crazy. Anyway, back to Eliza. She marries Charles at a young age, like I said, but she marries him because her father is over in England, and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see him. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying. Instead, she gets married. 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story. Do not poke the bear and piss her off. All activity will stop, including EMF readings. I've seen it hundreds of times at this point. Back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England. One of those gifts happened to be the seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Exactly. So, I will tell you that this is where the seeds came, but she didn't know what to do with them. She actually had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, believe it or not. So when she figured that out, she had to learn how to make the dye that it does create. And she did that here and then moved it over to the plantation, got a hold of her father, and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. So something absolutely unheard of. So this space in particular is very prominent to the history of Charleston, obviously. So we're going to be here with respect, but very quick and short. I will also tell you that this is a space I was looking to retire because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters on your guys' end, like being disrespectful to her and then going to take a leak in the corner of the lot. So I had to give this place a break and come back a few weeks later and kind of let Eliza know I will swing by every night before my groups and let her know what your names are, which I write all of your names down so I can recite them back to her as I cut through the space, and how many people I will be bringing. So we will be brief. What's going to happen is we're going to spread out, and I'm going to do one round robin to see what's going on with your devices, and kind of answer any questions that you might have for me, personally. But at the same time, I'll regroup us here and give you all of the answers to the questions that I'll be giving you. So these are common questions. You can go rogue if you want, but I'm just telling you the common answers that we commonly get at this particular location. So we're going to start off with Anthony's device. So you have one that's going to give us a lot of communication. So you're going to have Eliza's death to focus on. So you can either ask these questions out loud, or you could just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. How old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So these are 4 major questions that we commonly get the answers to.
So when did she die? How did she die?
Where is she buried?
Where is she buried?
How Did She Die,
and the pallbearer.
And I'm gonna walk around.
Question.
Well, use the same question, usually 4 to 5 times.
Yeah.
So, like, Elijah, tell us how old you were when you passed away, and then maybe reword it a minute later. Elijah, can you tell me how old you were?
Cindy.
Here's the number. You know, those kind of, just kind of repeat it. Have a conversation. You know, that's kind of the way I describe it. Just, I mean, if you're going to be working out loud,
Something over there by her.
exactly.
What is that?
Exactly, because they were a person. And that's still a person. Well, not a human person.
They're still the person they were.
What are the? Where should we?
We're going to spread out in here.
Okay.
So we're going to work in here.
Come on, Elijah. Come out and play. Come on, Elijah. I believe you're here. I believe you are a great businesswoman. You showed those men. You showed them. Yes, you did. Okay, so dancing people are nothing. And I need you to show up, Elijah. Come on, Elijah. Show me. Show me where you are. Come on, Elijah. Come on, Elijah. Come on, Elijah. Come on. Come on. Come on out. Come out and play. Are you hearing anything? I forgot what you were supposed to be looking for. I forgot what your task was.
What happened to the mansion or the year?
Oh yeah, that's right. He's too busy. Come on, Elijah, where are you? Wave at me if that's you. Come on, Elijah, show yourself. Show me your brilliance. I know you have it. Come on, Elijah. Come to me, Elijah. Let me see you. Let me see you, Elijah. Elijah Pickney. Elijah Pickney. Mrs. Pickney. Talk to me. what that is. What is that? What's right there? Is that you, Elijah? Stand up. If that's you, stand up, Elijah. Come on, Mrs. Pickney. Stand up. Stand up. Up, 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 up. 'Cause I don't know what else that could be. So, all right, I'm going to debunk it. I'll move on. You didn't do anything. You didn't want to stand up. Okay. That's Cindy. That's probably nothing. That's nothing, nothing. Nothing. Back at you. Where are you? What are you? Okay, I'm back to you. Stand up. Stand up, Elijah. How tall are you? Come on, show me. All right, well, I'm not getting on. I'm over it. One right there, but it won't stand up or do anything, so right there. Same one I keep getting.
You said you got something on there?
I think it's just a shadow of something.
It's just reflection off the
Yeah,
water
that's what
right
I
here.
thought.
Yep.
Just a shadow of something.
You got it.
Because I've asked it to stand up.
Oh, you were back in that.
Shake your booty.
Yeah, parking lot talking about Elijah history popped up when you were talking.
Did we get anything else to match up with that? Let's go ahead and put
What'd
you
you
on here.
say, Ed?
history popped up on mine.
I got educational.
Yeah.
Educational came up?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So,
There's
That's cool.
in the event that there's something else that pops up as kind of like to verify that
Yeah, it
educational
tells you all
piece,
that. It has the date and the time. See?
it'll always give you the date and time. Now, what I'll be looking for at this point, because you do have the word educational, is Eliza was involved with tabula rasa, which is a John Locke idea that children are born and they're more influenced by their experiences than they are in actual education. So again, when
On the job
educational
training.
pops up, if the word like Locke comes up, like I get excited. So it might not be the same spelling of John Locke because he does spell it with an E, but again, if we had that same phonetic sound, I'm still excited. So if he missed the word Locke somewhere, I'm not going to be searching for it. If it pops up, now I know why it popped up, if that makes sense. All right, so welcome to Philadelphia Alley. When other tours do come down here, just so you know, they will be coming out of that ivy wall. So there's a little step right there. Not that I'm aware of. Or they'll be coming in the exact same way that we came down. So just kind of be mindful, those of you with cameras, that we don't want to be filming people, especially in this area, because the neighbors would love to come through here. We just don't want to
Go
film
right
them
like
directly.
that.
Are there people down there now? No. But yeah, we definitely want to get some footage to make sure you're on record. Ed, you are not
I
on
am.
record right now, just so you know.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll fix it while I talk. Nope, wrong one. Ed,
Ed.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Give it up, Ed.
I went back to the other ad.
So I'll pop that in just a sec. All right, so this used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur. By the way, Anthony, did you hear anything along the way?
No, I've been listening intently. I promise.
That's why we record everything. So some people suck at this, and that's okay.
Ah, you suck.
I might be one of those people.
I suck too. I haven't
Listening
gotten
hasn't
anything
always
either.
been my strong suit.
What did you say? No, I'm kidding. So some of the duels, and I say that because dueling was illegal in the 1700s. So this was one of the hiding spots. So we all talk about the same duel, and every ghost tour comes down here. It's kind of a staple. This is the space I'm retiring this year, so enjoy it. Because again, I'm not going to be coming down here next year because I do add a new space after taking out one every single year. Now, the reason why I'm taking out is because everybody comes here. We all tell the same story. I just give you different details because you're ghost hunting. Again, no campfire marshmallow stories with me. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda, not Monica, by the way. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's cash. He tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. So on his way into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start. Somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. that somebody walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from.
Rhode Island, yeah.
Correct. So, we were getting the letters RI all the time that would show up. I have no idea what the hell that sound just was.
I said spark.
Swirly again? Okay, we do have a few remnants of it down here. So anyway, we were getting the letters RI all the time on a regular spirit box, so I actually bought a new device. It's called an Envoy, but it's basically a digital Ouija board. I wanted to make sure we were having the exact letters that I was hearing from spirit boxes. We've gotten it at least half a dozen times in the past 6 months. So just take that for what it's worth. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside the house that you're about to rent a room from, and you're going to die. So come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from friends of mine. They'll rent you a room and you'll be safe. It took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't.
So the doctor didn't get killed?
No, we're not there yet.
Oh. Okay. So you backtracked. Okay.
Oh no, I'm just kind of progressing on how he became friends with Ralph.
Okay.
So, he's making a lot of money. Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a whistling ghost. It's a cliche. We all have one. Just going to point that out. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Now, Dr. Ladd and Ralph, they go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. The doctor gets better seats. So, one night they go see Richard III. They're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great, and Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. And it goes pretty ugly, and they go their separate ways, basically. But I already told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Doula's Alley. We'll settle this, and somebody will die. All this over an actress, is the way it started. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend, he just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happened at a duel. However, Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor still doesn't die. He falls to the ground, his friends pick him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. 1786, gunshot wounds were a lot different. He's also a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and probably tried to bleed it out himself, but failed because he died. So, every ghost tour that brings you down here tells you to listen for the whistles from the Whistling Doctor. The reason why I have both video cameras running right now, they're recording audio, as is my voice recorder. If we're going to get whistles down here, more than likely that's where they're going to show up. Secondly, we have spirit boxes running. Especially Anthony's. We've gotten whistle parts of songs with the word doctor that shows up from a commercial afterwards. Can't tell you how many times. I've been coming here for 4 years. Happens all the time. We also get other specific terms. 59, that was the address of the doctor. The word doctor, medicine, doctoral. You get all the points of the things that will show up here that you will be hearing from here all the way to the next location. Now, every tour tells you to listen for those whistles, and if you're going to try this on your own with your voice recorders from your phone and walk all the way through the alley, just keep in mind every local knows the story. So if you're going to listen to it later, I do it every single night.
Right.
So my office is this way, my garage is that way. So I have to walk to my garage every morning when I'm done with your data, and I always throw a whistle down here, especially since I've been thrown out of here. Let's talk about that, because that's what makes the story so damn interesting. This alley didn't go all the way through that way. There was a wall up there. So the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. They had to keep everything kind of barreled in. It was called Cow Alley before Jeweler's Alley. So again, cows and chickens running around down here. So what does that mean on a paranormal sense? That means the bricks down at the other end by Queen Street are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those bricks were sun-dried from slave children, and there's a full handprint from a slave child down there, along with fingerprint swipes and others. When I first started doing tours, I used to take my groups all the way through to show the handprint, not because of bragging rights, but because we all need to see how far we've come, right? And I don't look at that as a paranormal piece either. Here's why. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. So one night, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10, because I was pretty sold out, even at the beginning, they're all huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen because he's not there. I'm also trying to be respectful because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The new owner of that alley came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because she was on the tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in upper retail management for the largest retailer in the world for a good part of 10 to 15 years. We won't get into that right now, but I don't do Thanksgiving. The next day was November 28th. The dates are relevant. I'm getting to it. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He also laughed at me, just the way my daughter did, and said, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. You're allowed to go halfway or reroute the group. I told my group that night, because it's Black Friday, and we sold out again, we're going to have to reroute, but I don't believe in the next story we're going to, because nothing has ever happened to me over there with my gear, ever. And I'm also a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So, obviously we're discussing pirates next. Now, what I will tell you is while we were at the top edge of the alley, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be looking into. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I'm like, well shit, maybe we will get something. We go up there, I told them a little bit I didn't know about piracy. Somebody else, here's the number 300. I don't know what it means. I write it down. I did the research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So you guys were like, oh wow, that's really cool stuff. I was pissed. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even when I'm writing fiction, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that were written over 100 years before after the actual alleged happenings. So I've had to read more books on pirates to make sure what we're doing over at the next stop is legit. So everything we're going to be discussing came from a minimum of 2 resources. It's a very fun story, but it's also 50-50 roll of the dice if we're going to get activity, because Anne is said to be seen all over town. The hope is that she's going to be there at the same time we are, which is why I kind of like to bleed over from Philadelphia Alley here to be able to kind of complement in case we miss things from Anne Bonny. Before we leave the space, I'm telling you, I'm going to give Ed a job later on. Yeah. So he's been phenomenal. Like, he's just been holding it steady. Love it. The gate, before we leave. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. In the event there was a loser to the duel down here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. So now you guys can see how I pieced together the histories here. The gate itself was not, but the archway was. So the gate is from the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway was definitely part of the original wall. Otherwise, they're taking a dead body, which is dead weight, all the way down to Queen Street and then double backing to get to the cemetery. So again, not a whole lot of people know why this archway was here. Now it's just blocked off because it's no longer an easement, if that makes sense, if you know real estate laws, but that's kind of how this gate was kind of came to be. Now, the next place we're going is up and around the corner. For those of you with cameras, if you're going to continue recording, just kind of keep them at belly level. Peggy, you're doing a great job. That's normally the shot I ask for anyway. It is nice and low, so that way you don't have to hold it up. But we're going to be, you may see other ghost tours up there. It is Sunday night, so we'll just stay out of their way. I'll tell you the piece of history about Anne Bonny, and then you guys will investigate the space the same way we did the Pinckney Mansion site. It's a very fun story, like I said, so we'll kind of see what happens. And then the last stop after that, we kind of get a little crazy with some of the methods that we're going to be using. We've already kind of discussed that, Cindy, with the Estes method. So we're going to be toying with the Estes method and something new that they've added onto.
It's on your jacket.
Yeah, you got to turn around. There you go. We're going to have some very interesting film.
Oh.
This is one of the most beautiful places in all of Charleston.
No, I was just gonna say, like, even during the day, like, do people just like traveling?
Yeah. But at nighttime, this is normally flooded with ghost tours. Like,
Yeah.
So, and there's some nights, like if my group shows up early and we get started at like 8:30 or 8:40, and I come down here at the same, because I don't time this, what'd you get? Can't tell me. Did you get anything on yours? Pencil possibly? Maria,
Have you seen anything? No.
Okay.
Have you looked?
History on both of them? That's because what we're discussing is history. So, alright, let's go learn about rated R pirates. Somebody got my dad joke. Oh, somebody got it.
One last chance. Oh.
get you back on mute, Cindy. You heard horses come out of both of those. Let's talk about this here. Alexander, any crazy terms?
Come over here.
No, I got chimp, note, paragraph.
You also have pencils. There's a lot of writing comes in there.
Yeah,
Shadows.
It's weird to have paragraphs.
Him.
paragraph. Yeah, it came up when we were walking, like, oh my god.
The only reason I say paragraph is weird because Dr. Ladd did write poetry that was published later after his death. His sister published it, so that wouldn't be paragraph, they would be stanzas. So when I seen pencil, I was like, maybe we'll get something relative to his poetry. This is why I don't tell you guys everything. So,
Right.
that way when things do pop up, if you're not familiar with them, or turnbuckles. So if we have another
Here, I'll hold
earthquake,
on to that when you can go to the
1886, you
trade
can
for a
turn those
while.
turnbuckles and it tightens the
Just
building
for a minute.
incur any further damage. So it's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So you guys just see them all over town as Charleston charm with lion heads and pineapples and all the bullshit around Charleston, right? Even this apartment building behind it has earthquake poles.
Right.
So they're all over the place. But the reason I point those out, I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
They just put it piece
It's a turnbuckle, so it's got the full, I mean, you can just tighten them. So those over there on the powder magazine, those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. That's part of the reason why we're here. That's why I
I don't
like to
wanna
point
trade
them out.
No, here we are.
The reason why is because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in
Right.
1713. Now, we are here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. So if you watch the TV shows and they use that little teddy bear Boo Buddy guy with the K2 meter in it, they use that to try to attract a child ghost because the child would recognize it as a toy. We're here for the exact same reason. This is one of the few buildings around Charleston that Anne would recognize because it's from her time period. You guys getting the gist of why we're here? Perfect. So let's get into the middle of the story because the story begins right in the middle of the construction. So 1708, which by the way, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? So anyway, you guys can laugh. I'll just answer for you that no, it doesn't sound like them at all. But anyway, 1708. Follow me. There's a lot of twists on this one, and I will slow down on the twist. We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate here. Alexandra's excited. I can see it in her eye. Now, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack.
Oh yeah, Irish.
She came here with her father. She jumping the gun on me again. With the damn redheads. So she comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off is that wife that she had to kick him out of the country? We have waters. Got it. And yes, they had to come here by boat because there's no planes. So again, just showing how pissed off that wife actually would have been. They land in Georgetown. That's just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charleston to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. That's why we're here. Anne back home in Ireland, we're going to take a step backwards. Sorry, Peggy. Anne was a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly all show up on 3 different communication devices, and one person doesn't know what the other 2 people have. Happens all the time.
We're proud of it.
Exactly. Fast forward. The building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So that's the times. So, first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all because that's what makes the story so damn interesting. The first guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? So, Dad didn't approve because he's a pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, they got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when she gets down there to Jamaica, and she's with her new husband, she realizes he's not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. So a few more years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
So,
Big story.
yep. Now Calico Jack has his
Isn't
own
there
ship.
like an alcohol name after Calico Jack?
No.
Okay.
You're thinking of Jack.
Well, I know
Daniels.
Jack
Yeah.
Daniels.
Yeah.
No, no. No, but like, okay, just forget it. Just forget it.
But he has his own ship and he has his own crew, but Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody here know why? Keep it family
Bad
friendly.
luck or
Thank
something
you.
like that, yeah.
Thank
Why?
you. It's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew,
You're intuitive.
you can be part of the crew. So she is okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland. She gets it. It's a man's world, but she's a pirate. Let's go. She's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain and they'll vote him off. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show. Have the baby here with friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back, and we'll figure it out later. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. No amount of my research on pirates has ever discovered what the hell happened to that child. What's significant about this part is that she comes back dressed as a female.
What does that mean?
Her. Like pay-per-view. See, like her.
Each.
That's-
Each. Her means
I've never had her.
her.
It's always a
Mine
regular
surprises
word.
me every week. I get at least 1 or 2 terms I've
That
never
has
seen before.
some kind of significance to what you're talking
We're gonna find out.
about. Yeah. Pirate statement.
That's not a reach.
When she comes back from not having that baby, because we don't know what happened to him, she's dressed like a female. Jack's pissed off, and she's going to make him even more angry to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. We're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. What? Now we have 2 females, dressed like males on the same ship trying to be pirates. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of Navy ships after them to take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot, by the way. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front of the judge, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, but the judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted out, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So they got very smart. So he says, fine. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home, she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84.
Holy hell.
Very,
With the last husband.
which we don't know his name. Yeah. Now, that's, again, 4 lovers that we discussed. So there's a couple of things I left out. Here's what I left out of the story, because I'm not going to assign questions here. This is not a prominent English woman that you have to tiptoe around, kick her in the shins, and get some damn answers. That's kind of usually the mentality. But here's what I left out. I left out the names of her parents, the father and his mistress. So that way you'd have something to start with. The name of Calico Jack's ship, the color of her hair, which Ed already revealed, which was the good old Irish red-headed girl. And I usually give that to somebody that's struggling with a spirit box a little bit. They're like, hey, ask her what her hair color was. It's a 1-syllable answer. So hopefully you can get the color red if you're asking about that. I also left out the city that she grew up in Ireland on purpose. So these are all things I did not tell you. Anything else you want to know? I just can't prove anything about that baby in Cuba. So that's the only thing I cannot prove. I've had weird things happen with all cameras that we're working with here. This ivy wall is not your friend because all leaves are in front of one another. You'll get a bunch of gobbledygook figures waving at you.
Saw them
EMF,
already.
as far as your end, Maria, the 2 corners have 2 electrical poles. Don't get excited if you start to see like a 5 to an 8 in that area. It's from the electrical poles. So I normally get more excited about the EMFs that come up back here.
I've been getting zeros.
Yeah. So,
More
so we're gonna
church
find out.
music.
What was that?
More church music.
More church music.
I
Any
heard
words?
Bend over.
Bend over.
Oh, man.
And that probably goes with your per. Bend over per what?
What you want to
Wander
know?
around.
So we're looking for city. What's the name again?
Anne, are you around?
Wait, so this building here?
Let's just sit down here. All right. That's better.
young, she's like 20 years old. This is the early 1700s. And she actually set up a little seamstress shop on King Street up here. Now, I do want to take a moment, guys, and we're going to give Sarah a little credit. She was a young, single female business owner in the early 1700s, which is like pretty badass. And I feel like you got to give her that because it's about to take a worse turn at this point. We're going to talk about where it all came. And the reason we thought Sarah was a witch is because she's a witch. So she did not practice one of the major accepted religions.
Come on, Ann. Oh, you're a woman after my own heart. Come on, Ann. You're a woman after my own heart. Come on. You're a fuck off like me. Come on. Let's try it one more time. Nope, nothing.
That we're staying at. And she was here for